Imagine a world in chaos, where catastrophes multiply, economic crises crush nations, and leaders cry out for an urgent solution. Amidst the despair, a seductive proposal emerges, a law that promises peace, stability, and security for all. But this law is not just a norm, it is the beginning of the greatest spiritual conflict in human history. The Bible has already revealed that this day would come. And it will not happen all at once, but in silent and subtle stages that will change the destiny of humanity. The question is, have these stages already begun? Before we reveal these 7 stages that will change history, I want to ask you something very simple. Leave your comment with your opinion. Do you believe that the Sunday law has already begun to show signs? Long before it made headlines, the Bible already described a global movement that would unite politics, religion, and economics under one goal: to impose a form of worship that defies God's commandments. In Revelation 13, we find the prophecy about the imposition of a mark, accompanied by economic sanctions and persecution against the faithful. But this will not happen abruptly. Ellen White warns, the final events will be rapid, final events, page 11, but they follow a logical sequence, with signs that we can already see today. The Sunday law will be presented as a solution to global crises, social, environmental, and spiritual. It will come with a message of peace, but it will pave the way for the greatest test of faithfulness in history: who will obey God when human laws oppose His word? All of this is not speculation, it is prophecy. The Bible leaves no doubt, this system will be imposed and will shake the world. But the truth is that it will not come overnight. It will advance in stages, subtle at first, but overwhelming in the end. Now, get ready to learn about the 7 stages of the Sunday law. Stage 1, the cry for morality and peace. History shows that in times of chaos, people seek radical solutions. The Bible predicted this: when they say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction will come upon them, 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3. Today we are living exactly that scenario: climate crises, natural disasters, economic collapse, increased violence, family breakdown, and the growth of atheism. These crises are creating a global narrative: we need to unite to save the planet and restore values. And what is the central proposal? A universal day of rest. This is already in the speeches of the UN, in environmental pacts, and in the Vatican's Laudato Si document, which links the preservation of the planet to a day of rest on Sunday. It seems like a positive thing, but it is the seed of religious imposition. This is how it all begins, with a cry for morality. Stage 2, union of churches and popular pressure. History teaches us that when religion allies itself with political power, freedom is always the first victim. Prophecy has already anticipated this: when the Protestant churches unite with civil powers to support their institutions, then the United States will have formed the image of the beast, the Great Controversy, page 445. And this movement has already begun. Today we see ecumenical gatherings around the world, interfaith meetings in Assisi, global forums on peace and the environment bringing together Catholic, Protestant, Islamic, and Jewish leaders. Pope Francis is one of the main promoters of this unity. In his speeches, he states, "We cannot face crises alone, we need a united faith." This climate will intensify as calamities worsen. The media will repeat, "Only together can we survive." This popular pressure will be irresistible to governments. The next step will be to transform spiritual union into legal force. Anyone who opposes this movement will be accused of fanaticism and of being an enemy of the common good. This will be the decisive phase for the advancement of the Sunday law, *. Stage 3, laws in the name of the common good. The third stage is when the appearance of goodness becomes law. Authorities, under strong social and religious pressure, will create legislation presented as measures to save society: a mandatory day of rest to reduce stress, restore the family, and even combat global warming. We already see signs of this today. European countries such as Germany and France have Sunday laws that restrict commerce on Sundays. The Vatican openly defends this concept, stating that Sunday is necessary for healing the soul and respect for creation. The encyclical Laudato Si states that giving the planet a day of rest is part of the solution to the environmental crisis. But make no mistake, what appears to be a social measure is, in fact, a step toward religious imposition. At first, it will be presented as optional, but it will quickly become mandatory. Those who do not accept it will be seen as selfish, against peace, and even against the survival of the planet. Stage 4, Economic Coercion. When appeals are not enough, economic force will come into play. The Bible clearly describes this in Revelation 13 verse 17, no one will be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark. This will be the moment when faithfulness to God will come at a very high price, material survival. Today we see the mechanisms forming, physical money disappearing, the growth of digital payment methods, and governments developing state-controlled digital currencies, CBDCs. These systems can easily impose blockades on those who disobey the new religious laws. Imagine not being able to pay bills, buy food, or use banking services because you decided to be faithful to the biblical Sabbath. This will be one of the greatest tests of faith in history. And when it comes, there will be no middle ground, either you remain with God, or you give in to pressure to maintain your comfort and livelihood. Stage 5, Criminalization of Sabbath keeping. This stage marks a dramatic change. The Sabbath, the sign of God's covenant, Exodus 31 verses 16 to 17, will be seen as an act of rebellion. Keeping the Sabbath will become illegal. Society will blame the faithful for all the calamities that persist, droughts, crises, wars. Headlines will read, "Religious fanatics prevent global peace." Ellen White predicted, influential men will make laws to restrict religious freedom, and those who keep the Sabbath will be accused of being enemies of law and order. Final Events, page 125. It will not be just a matter of worship, but of loyalty, obeying God's law or the law of men. Those who remain faithful will be prosecuted, lose their rights, and be treated as criminals. This will be the watershed for true worshippers. Stage 6, Open Persecution. The sixth stage will be marked by global hatred against those who refuse to bow down. Matthew 24 verse 9 announces, "You will be hated by all nations because of my name." Imprisonment, physical assault, public defamation, confiscation of property, all of this will become reality. Technology will be used as a weapon. Surveillance systems, digital monitoring, and social media tracking will identify the disobedient. We already see signs of this in countries that persecute religious minorities and restrict individual freedoms. The whole world will turn against a small group that insists on obeying God's commandments. But it is precisely at this moment that the Lord's servants will shine most brightly, testifying courageously before rulers and courts, as did Daniel and his friends in Babylon. Stage 7, Death Decree. The final act will be terrible. Revelation 13 verse 15 says, "Anyone who would not worship the image of the beast was to be killed." A universal death decree will be signed, authorizing the elimination of believers who do not accept the mark of the beast. But before a single life is taken, God intervenes. At that moment, the door of grace will already be closed, the 7 plagues will fall upon the wicked, and the angels will protect those who remain faithful. The death decree, which seemed like the end, will be the sign of deliverance. Soon after, Christ will return in glory to put an end to the rebellion of evil. This will be the outcome of the cosmic battle that began in heaven. And only those who stand firm in the Word today will remain steadfast on that day. Now that we understand the 7 stages of the Sunday law, the question remains, is all this still a distant future, or is it already happening before our eyes? Look at what we see in the world. Calls for morality and peace, global discourse insists on the need for a day of rest and sustainable practices to save humanity. The UN, the Vatican, and major institutions promote campaigns linking rest, family, and environmental preservation. Union of churches, ecumenical meetings are multiplying. Leaders of various religions are coming together for a common goal, a more united and peaceful humanity. Many see this as a good thing, but it is exactly what the prophecy warned about. Laws in the name of the common good. There are already Sunday restrictions in Europe, environmental laws, and policies that encourage the closure of businesses and the observance of certain days. It all starts small, but it forms the basis for future imposition. Economic pressure and coercion, the digitization of money, government-controlled currencies, and social credit systems are on the rise. These mechanisms could be used to punish those who remain faithful to God's law. Attacks on religious freedom, censorship on social media, persecution of religious minorities, and criminalization of spiritual practices that differ from the social norm. Signs of persecution: Christians being persecuted in various parts of the world, defamed or criminalized simply for maintaining their beliefs. When you look at this evidence, you realize that these stages are not merely distant prophecies. They are forming now, silently, almost imperceptibly to those who are not watching. That is why we need to be alert, firm in the Word, and prepared for what is to come. We cannot allow surprise to catch us off guard. After learning about the 7 stages and realizing how they are already forming before our eyes, it is time to reflect. Are you prepared to stand firm in the midst of all this? The Bible warns us that in the last days, faith will be tested as never before. Matthew 24 verse 13 says, "But he who endures to the end shall be saved." It is not just a matter of surviving the world, but of remaining faithful to God in all aspects of life. Ellen White reinforces this: those who stand firm in God in the days of trial will be purified and sustained by Him. Final Events, page 118. Don't wait until the pressure becomes unbearable to decide to follow the Word. Today, small decisions already reveal your loyalty. Do you let yourself be influenced by popular opinion, or do you stand firm in the truth? Do you prioritize convenience or obedience? Every attitude is a step toward faithfulness or conformity to the system that prophecy warns about. The invitation is clear: watch, study the Word, and strengthen your faith now, before the stages advance to a point of no return. Asterisk. If this video touched you and opened your eyes to the signs of the times, do your part. Like this video to show that you want to be prepared. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any prophetic content. Leave a comment saying, "I am watching," and share this video so others can wake up too. Remember, the time of choice is coming, and God wants you to be steadfast and prepared when the final events unfold. Asterisk.